You dog.
Alright, so hey everyone. This is going to be kind of a unscripted, unplanned kind of video. It's going to be just something to talk about my first week of owning an Australian Shepherd puppy. There have been quite a few comments on my YouTube channel about people that are going to be getting an Australian Shepherd puppy in the next few weeks to few months, and they're kind of asking, you know, what was your first week like with an Australian Shepherd puppy? So I'm going to try and remember. I think the first week with an Australian Shepherd puppy is kind of similar to when you bring home a new baby. Now, I've never brought home a new baby, but I think it's very much the same where it's all a blur. Everything is happening so fast and your life changes like that. And so it's hard to remember everything that happened in that first week. But I'm gonna try and give you guys good content, but bear with me as I try to remember that whole week, which is basically just like a blur to me. So let's start at day one. So we basically went and got our Australian Shepherd probably halfway through the day. And I remember the first thing that I was pretty shocked about was how much energy there was in a puppy. I had my previous dog for about 14 years. It had been a pretty good amount of time since I had actually had a puppy around me. So I was used to an older dog's energy level, and all of a sudden going to an Australian Shepherd puppy was quite a shock. So I just remember her running around like crazy everywhere, just like a little bullet going everywhere. And yeah, it was, I don't know, we just played a lot on our first day. The thing that probably shocked me the most as well on the first day was the independence level of my Australian Shepherd puppy. I'm not necessarily saying that every single Australian Shepherd puppy is going to be like this, but when it comes to Aspen, she was so independent. It was a little bit shocking. I remember the previous dogs that I have had, they were very whiny in the first, 3-4 days away from their mom and dad because they missed their mom and dad. It's a new place, it's all strange, and Aspen really didn't care. She could care less if she was in a new place or not. She was just hyper and running around everywhere. We didn't have any issues with her crying at night. We didn't have any issues with her waking us up in the middle of the night, really. It was more just that she would sleep for a good 2-3 hours and then wake up and she was the Energizer Bunny all over again, and she was just like ready to go, crazy. So that's really what I remember on the first day. We basically kept her downstairs just because when you get a puppy, the first thing that you're going to think about is, okay, I have to do potty training, right? Because of course the puppy isn't potty trained. You're going to have accidents on the floor. But we really thought, after doing research with Australian Shepherds, that it was going to be very easy to potty train them. And that wasn't the case with Aspen, really, at all. She didn't get potty training for probably a good 2 weeks, I would say. And that's not necessarily saying that she was, consistently peeing on the floor in those 2 weeks, but it was more that she, how do I explain it? With an Australian Shepherd, at least with my Australian Shepherd, she understood what she was supposed to do very quickly. So they're smart in that sense where they actually understand exactly what they're supposed to do. But they're so smart to the level where they realized, well, I don't necessarily have to do what you want me to do. Let me see what's going to happen if I don't do what you want me to do. They realize what's wrong and what you want them to do, but they are more than happy to then turn the tables and say, well, I don't have to do that. So that was our experience probably throughout the first week. It was pretty shocking to see that she understood that she wasn't supposed to be peeing in the house, but she did it anyways just because either she wanted a reaction or she just wanted to push the limits in some way. I don't know why, but it was very obvious that she knew it was wrong when she did it. So in the first week of having an Australian Shepherd puppy, I think there are two things that you're going to start to notice. Number one is the nipping. So I'm not saying that all Australian Shepherds are going to be big nippers, but when you look at the history of the breed, what they are bred to do as herding dogs, they're going to have a certain level of an innate behavior to nip at your heels or nip at your hands. And that first week, you're going to have to get used to that behavior. And so, especially with a puppy, you'll notice that their teeth are super razor sharp. It's very uncomfortable when they start to try and nip at you. So you really have to get that behavior under control. It's not going to happen in the first week. It's going to take a while. It took probably 6 months, I would say, for Aspen. So just to expect that, that's completely normal if you have that in your Australian Shepherd puppy. The next thing is, and a lot of people might not necessarily know about this, I talk about it a little bit in a couple of my videos, but the fact that you're not necessarily supposed to be taking your puppy out onto public sidewalks until they have their second round of vaccines. And the reason for this is because maternal antibodies are still circulating. The vaccines might not have been effective the first time around. That's actually why we have a set of 3 vaccinations for puppies, to make sure that their immune system is properly responding and it's not just maternal antibodies. So it's probably not a good idea to be taking your puppy out for walks. That poses a pretty hard thing when you've got a dog that is such high energy level as an Australian Shepherd. So you know what, it's going to be hard that first 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks that you can't necessarily use public sidewalks, but you're going to be able to deal with it. You just have to play with them a lot more, and eventually you'll be able to take them out and diffuse their energy level that way versus trying to find other ways to do it. So basically, first week, it's a hard week. You're getting used to a very different lifestyle than you have had previously. You're not going to be able to go out and do a lot of long things away from your home. So go and do those things while you can. Get ready for your puppy and then just enjoy that life stage. It goes by so fast. It's gone in the blink of an eye, and you really just want to enjoy it. The number one thing that I would say for Australian Shepherd dog owners, or people that are going to become Australian Shepherd dog owners very soon, is patience is key with an Australian Shepherd. Just because they're an extremely smart dog does not mean you're going to have an easy time. Don't feel bad that you can't get rid of that nipping behavior in a week. It's not common to be able to get rid of that nipping behavior in a week. It takes a really long time to get rid of some of these things. So you're not alone. It takes a long time, and just be very patient. It'll happen. Eventually the dog is going to learn all of these different things and will result in a very good dog. But an Australian Shepherd is a reflection of how much work you put into them. If you put a lot of work into them, you're gonna end up with a very good dog. If you don't put the work into them, you're gonna have a very hard time. But it just requires a lot of patience, and if you have any questions on your journey, you can always let me know. I'm always here. I've gone through it before, so you can always leave a comment down below if you have any questions for me. And there's a whole community here of Australian Shepherd dog owners as well that have gone through it as well. So we can all support each other and get through this together. But yeah, so I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.